Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel where we do behind the scenes videos, practical product reviews and photography chat in between. Today we're going to be talking about how you can find your photography style. So one thing I get asked about a lot is how to find your style, how I found my style and how do other photographers find theirs. I'm going to run through 5 quick tips that I've learned along my journey so far and how you can implement that into your photography. Number 1 is consistency, and that's not referring to the consistency of the quality of your work, but just consistently be banging out photographs. One thing I am hugely guilty of is not taking photographs every single day. It's really easy if you're inconsistent to be sat in front of a screen like Instagram or other people's websites and let all those inhibitions and all that fear weigh down on your shoulders. The easiest way for me to get away from that is to get outside and be consistently taking photographs. And going outside and taking photographs kind of leads on to point number 2. Look outside of your interests. Now that could be anything from going to a yoga class or going to the gym. I'll give you an example of how I've done that. Last winter I was up the road in Inverness and what really struck me was the colour palette of the natural landscapes. This kind of coincided with an Instagram account that I've been following recently called Found Palettes, where they take pictures of landscapes or even random objects and they place a little colour swatch down at the bottom of the photograph. So that's key colours that are in that picture and they just put it in a little bar. What intrigued me about that account was how nice the colour swatches were. If I was looking for a theme for my next shoot, I could just take that colour palette and implement it into my photography. Fast forward a few months later and the main chunk of my portfolio is bold backgrounds and earthy tones. So ask yourself, what is there that you do outside of photography where you can take aspects of that thing and implement it into your work? You don't need to completely overhaul your work to implement that aspect. You could just take and taste it and play with it next time you're out shooting. And a great example of how I recently found my style in the last 6 to 9 months was when I was laying out my whole work and laying out my new portfolio. Really at the turn of the year I had little nuggets of everything. There was some BMX in there, there was some landscapes in there, there was some random little bits of fashion, and then there was what I now consider my main work, which is the sports and portraiture. And really it was laying it out and also asking myself, what is it I want to do? What is it I want to be known for? When someone is looking for a photographer for a certain thing, what do I want that thing to be? Coupled with laying my photography work out, I've also been showing my portfolio to a lot of different people this year. One of the best pieces of advice I had was to create an overview page on my website. People don't want to be raking about in your portfolio to see what it is that you're about. They just want to come to an overview page, bang, that's what they shoot. It was through creating this overview page that I finally had a visual of what my work was. So to round up point 3, it would be to lay out your work and also ask others what they think your style is. Email your portfolio to random people, ask the person next to you to have a look at your website and ask them, what do you think my style is? Now, not everyone's feedback is golden, but one piece of advice I like to follow is that if 3 people say the same thing, there's probably some truth to it. Okay, point number 4 is kind of a contradiction to point number 1, but that is to look at other people's work. Now, when you're looking at other people's work, try and aim as high as possible because that ultimately is where you want to get to. Now, you can gain inspiration from other people's work, but obviously you always have to be always aware not to get bogged down in how fantastic X's work is or Y's work is. Just accept that there are people who are at a different stage from you and that one day, if you work hard enough, you'll get there. It's easy to get bogged down looking at other people's work and thinking, that's such a fantastic photograph, I'd love to shoot that, why haven't I had done that? Well, why don't you do that? Pick a photograph you like and just copy it. Look at the light, look at the object, look at the subject, how are they moving, what is it that you like about that picture? Try and go out and recreate that. Now, chances are you will not be able to recreate that. It's almost impossible, especially when you're involving models and things, to recreate that genuine moment is almost an impossible task. But what's great about that is just the practice of trying. There might be aspects or elements in there that you haven't tried before and you might stumble upon a technique which you find really helps you find your style. So to round up point number 4, sample, copy, repeat. Which leads on to point number 5, and probably what I think is the most important one and the best piece of advice that I've ever heard, and that is to edit your photos. Don't just edit one picture once, post it on your website, post it on Instagram, and leave it to fester there. Take your time. There's no rush. What people haven't seen yet doesn't hurt them. So edit the picture once, edit it twice, edit it 3 times, edit it 4 times. Do as many different treatments to one single picture as you can. It's really easy to add a little bit of contrast, desaturate something, put the brightness up and think, yeah, that looks cool, and be done with it. That's the edit for that image and you're done. But try giving one photograph 4 treatments. Personally, I have a bunch of different presets which I save in Capture One, and I know you can do this in Lightroom as well. And with one photograph, I will flick through all those different presets, which are just like filters, and I might apply one preset to it. I might apply it 3 or 4 different times to see what it looks like. This way, by creating your own presets and giving the one picture 4 or 5 different treatments, you might just stumble upon something which really intrigues you. So as well as the style of how you want to position yourself when you're in the act of taking the photograph, or how you want to position this model or subject in the photograph when you're actually taking it, what's equally as important is to find your color treatment, your color palette, and how you edit photographs. That is really important when finding your style. There's a great video online which I will link in the YouTube bar thing or in the comments, but it's of renowned photographer Nadav Kandar, where he talks about giving one photograph 4 or 5 different treatments. For me, when I found this video, it was a huge moment of inspiration for me, and something that I will continue to practice throughout my career. Okay guys, so that kind of wraps up my 5 key points on how to find your style. If there's anything I haven't mentioned or anything you'd like me to elaborate on, please leave it in the comments below. And also, I'd love to hear what you found that helped you find your style. So if you like this video, please hit the subscribe button. It's something that I'm aiming to do consistently, as point number 1 is consistency. Thanks for watching guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.